Well, I've been playing a new game.
That.
It's the game. I don't know if you noticed the like Palworld. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. A lot of controversy around that game.
It's. I guess I could see why people are really pulling it. Like, if you
I
like.
think it's more the fact that it pretty blatantly copies a lot of Pokemon stuff.
No. That's not even the controversy.
Well,
It's
I've heard it's that, and then because I've heard it's them like lifting designs is what people are saying. I haven't played it. I mean, it looks very similar, the designs.
to Pokemon, no. Like, yes, sure.
Mm,
Like some of the Pokemon like had like it's just there's so many Pokemon at this point. Like it's like hard to like make stuff. But it was the biggest thing is like people saying like they like used AI to make the game and then like
yes,
they
that's the
like
other one I've
stole
heard.
code and stuff like
Yeah.
that, which is not true. The AI thing is definitely not true. At least I
See, but they
believe
haven't
so.
denied that though. The company hasn't outright denied it. That is conjecture for sure. It's not proven that that is correct, but it's also not been denied by the company that made the game.
Yeah, but see, so it's like it's. I think it got this proven right because like one of the dudes like tweeted out like how they designed all the stuff and like the AR like people were like debating the AI being used for like the designs aspect of the Pokemon and stuff like that. But like one of the dudes literally tweeted out like a picture of how they designed it and stuff and like one dude I read that one dude made a really good point like when they were actually starting this game which was 4 years ago AI wasn't even like that big like not it was not that it wasn't big but like it wasn't that developed back then so it wouldn't even be able to design any of this stuff too and I was like okay that's a fair point and then the code thing I guess they like stole it from one of their own previous games that like they killed which I guess I've read that it's like literally like a one for one copy it's just instead of
Okay.
machines it's using the pals
See,
so
the stuff because I've seen pictures of like the PAL like designs
mhm,
overlaid over Pokemon's and like Pokemon creature designs, and they are
yeah
essentially 1-to-1. So it's very like that's the stuff, and it's like we also don't. I don't think we have we don't definitively know whether or not they lifted code from uh Game Freak. I think is the
yeah
Pokemon.
Game
Yeah,
Freak is
I don't think we know definitively on that from at least from what I'm aware.
yeah.
But yeah, so it did look pretty like 1-to-1, and
No,
obviously
yeah.
like there's a lot like clearly they are aping some style at the very least. Like I that is
Mhm.
undeniable. Like just the
Mhm.
you look at it, it's like there's at least very blatant inspiration,
Yes. Oh,
and using those
100%.
using those designs very very yeah in a way that is very clearly kind of lifting a lot of stuff liberally from that design. But I don't know.
I mean,
How is the yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I think no. So my last thing is that it's like Nintendo is super serious about all of this stuff. Like if they would have instantly like discovered if they had like stolen anything from them
Yeah.
because they instantly go after like some dude like tweeted out that he was gonna make a mod making
With
the
putting
main
Ash in there,
character.
right?
Yes, and they
Yeah.
instantly shut him down. Like it
Yeah.
was like instant. Like so he was like if they had taken anything
Yeah.
from Nintendo, I think they would have instantly shut them down too. So it's like
Well,
that's
that's
why.
actually, yeah, I'm surprised there has not been a lawsuit from Nintendo
Yeah,
because even
no,
like they will
exactly.
crack down on stuff like this. I feel generally like similar kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So this, I don't know, and I guess there's lots of like Pokemon clones.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's just outside of like it's
Yeah, that's what
just
I'm
far enough
saying.
away, but it's still like it is very clearly yeah. Anyway, how is it as a game though?
I have a lot of fun with it because I love survival games, and I think the fact that you can like you can make everything like automated, like 100% automated, is just great. Because usually for survival games, you have to like always go out and scavenge to like come back to build and to like make the shit. But this one, you can literally like you don't even have to leave your base. You
Hmm.
go out to leave your base to defeat and capture, and I think that's like it's just super fun.
Okay. Well, we talked about this right before we started recording, because I thought Sebastian was recording. I've been playing Prince of
Yeah.
Persia. I don't have much to say on it though. It's just very good. I'm not a Ubisoft fan, but this is like my favorite game of theirs, and I've never played a Prince of Persia game. But I'm like, damn, this is really good. More of this kind of stuff, please, Ubisoft. Less weird, dumb, boring open world stuff that goes on for fucking 80 hours. Like that can be good. Obviously, I'm playing Baldur's Gate. Obviously, like The Witcher 3 is one of my favorite game. Is my favorite game of all time. But you got to have interesting stuff to fill up that world with, and I feel like Ubisoft just like it just seems like they copy and paste like empty space for most of their maps.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I recommend it. It's only $50 as well, so it's not even full price.
Oh yeah, damn.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Earth's Mightiest Comics of the Show, where every week we take a look at the new comics that came out that week, and we give you our thoughts and opinions on the comics, whether we think they're very good or whether we think they are incredibly, ridiculously piles of dog shit. There's a bit of both this week, I would say. But I think generally, in terms of like single issues, this has had my 3 favorite comics of 2024 so far. So obviously it's very early still, but you know, that's some good stuff. So yeah, this week we'll be talking about things like the new the Cobra Commander series, which is expanding the Energon Universe. We'll also be talking about new issues of like Daredevil and Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong and some more Beast World stuff. But to start out, we're going to be talking about an issue that I mentioned briefly last week as having read, and I was making it very obvious in that episode how much I love this first issue, and that would be Avengers Twilight #1. This is written by Chip Zdarsky, who is probably my favorite writer working in comics right now. And it says Ralph Macchio is also credited on here. I didn't see his name in the book, but if he's in there, then cool. And then the artist is Daniel Acuna, and then it also has Walt Simonson listed as an artist, which is also, I don't remember. I don't think there was a backup in this, so I'm really confused as to where that's coming from. But anyway. Yes, this is right off the bat. This is what I made Sebastian read. It is the first book that Chip Zdarsky has done at Marvel since the wrap up of his Daredevil run, I believe. I think that's correct. Since he's been off doing Batman stuff for a little bit, and he still is. But yeah. So you already know I love this.
Yes.
Where do you fall in this?
Man, I just genuinely I hate you so much, honestly, because you always give me such good things to read, and it pisses me off. Because actually, just one time, I would like to find a #1 that's just mind-blowingly amazing. Just so good.
I know you were making fun of me for how much I liked this last week. You were like, I think the other thing is you want me to give you a #1 that you just absolutely hate, so you can be like,
Yes.
now you know how it feels. But I don't think I've given you any terrible #1s. I've given you some ones that are just kind of mid.
Yeah.
But I can't think of any #1s that I gave you that were just really awful. Maybe I'm missing one, but
we might be missing one. But from my memory, that no, usually your #1s are really good or just they're okay. Where I'm just I'll keep going for a little bit and maybe I'll stop. But yeah.
Now there are other series that I make you read that you hate, but
yes, but that's
not #1s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially, this is set in an alternate. I believe, I don't think they're trying to pass this off as 616, but I assume is to be an alternate universe, Marvel future. Last week, I kind of alluded to this being like The Dark Knight Returns, but with Captain America. I very much stand by that. I've also heard people compare it to World's Finest, or sorry, not World's Finest, Kingdom Come, which I have not read, but sure, I see a lot of people say that, so I'm assuming that's probably accurate. So yeah, it's set in an alternate future of the Marvel Universe. Steve is very old and no longer Captain America. It's this very dystopian future where you can't even film stuff just kind of on your own. There's lots of weird, kind of very crazy rules. There's a weird peacekeeping peacekeeping force, which are really just asshole cops. And so you have you have a couple people who are kind of fighting back against this weird dystopian society. You've got primarily the ones that we see in this are Luke Cage and Mr. Matthew Murdock, the best character of all time, who unfortunately dies off screen in this issue. That was kind of a bummer, but so they're kind of doing their thing. They've created this kind of resistance force to go after this weird I don't think they're robots, but they kind of look like robots, the robot police force. They're kind of like RoboCops. I think I haven't seen the movie RoboCop, so I don't know. Maybe I'm off. But so that's one part, and then it's just kind of Cap going through his life, kind of disillusioned with a bunch of stuff. Particularly because there's a documentary that comes out where it's Red Skull was actually a hero, and he was trying to overthrow Hitler. And Cap was like, well, yeah, because he wanted to become the leader of the Nazis. He's not a, Red Skull was not a good dude. But so he gets very kind of irritated with that, and then ends up ultimately himself kind of trying to, take down, kind of getting back into action, taking down some of those RoboCops as they are going after some kids who are just like skateboarding and filming each other like skateboarding and stuff. And they were also like kind of right after curfew as well.
It was before curfew, actually.
Well, yeah, actually, no, you're right. It was by 5 minutes or something, because they were like, they gave Steve a warning. They're like, "Get home, old man," and then they're like, "You kids are hooligans. We're gonna take you down." And then so Steve gets like massively knocked out, and then he wakes up and Luke is like, "Welcome to the Resistance. You got to be Captain America again. Bring back the Avengers." Also, Tony Stark's son is like some asshole dude who's just he's like building suits for the government.
Part of the problem, yeah.
Yeah. And he's also like, well, why shouldn't we do a documentary about why Red Skull is a hero? And it's like, well, because that's blatant misinformation. So that is kind of the gist of this issue. Yeah. I mean, I didn't go too in depth with when I was talking about it last week, as I knew we were talking about it this week, but really great, just in general. I don't know if I gel with the art 100%. It's good. I just like kind of find it hard to parse in parts.
Yeah, so at the beginning specifically, I was not liking it. I was going to say that I wasn't really liking it, simply because of the art. The story at the beginning, you don't really, it's nothing too crazy or anything, but, you're just kind of, it's a new story, so you're kind of just reading into it, so it doesn't have to be crazy. But yeah, the art for me, it was like super weird. It was like super bright.
Yeah, there were like it looked like it was filtered through like a light prism or something.
Literally,
with
was
the colors
like,
kind of breaking out. Yeah,
super just hard. Like everything was just rainbow, and like there was like rainbow everywhere.
To me, kind of was like putting on like a pair of 3D glasses without like the old ones where it's like the different color lenses, because there's just like fractals of light like breaking out in different places. Yeah, very very interesting. I think it's an interesting choice. I just think it is kind of visually it gets a little bit cluttered. I settled into it, and I think it's well drawn, but it is a little bit hard to kind of just sort out.
Yeah, it's just jarring at first. Like really, like you do like eventually get used to it. It comes at you like at the very beginning. You're just like, oh, okay, this is kind of hard to see, but like eventually, I think it like dies down eventually, like as you get more into the issue. Because I feel like I just didn't notice it as much, or I don't know if it just like they just like stopped doing it. But yeah, art wise, it's an interesting take. I liked it more towards the end rather than the beginning. Story wise, I really liked it. This dystopian future that there aren't heroes anymore because of Hero Day.
Right.
I think it was.
I forgot to mention that.
It was Boston, I want to say.
I think so. Yeah.
It was essentially it blew up.
Yeah, it got leveled. Yeah.
Because of Ultron. He enhanced a bunch of villains, and essentially the villains, the heroes, their real world names got leaked, and so the villains would like go to their loved ones and then kill the heroes as they were trying to come save them and stuff. And we saw a very gruesome scene with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He was literally impaled, and he saw Cap, and he's like, "Hey, Cap, have you seen the other guys? Because I didn't." And yeah, he dies. Right there. And
not as heartbreaking as Matt dying off panel, obviously.
I don't know, man. Because Matt dying off panel was just Steve was just like, "Luke, what is this?" And Luke's just like, "Yo, Matt's dead, bro." So it's like, what? We just saw him. It's like, yeah, he died. It's like, oh, damn.
I would have liked to see an older Matt kind of operate at least once, but oh well. I also get like Chip Zdarsky just finished the Daredevil.
No, exactly.
He's probably kind of want to do some other stuff.
I couldn't help but chuckle because I was like, when I saw Matt again, I was like, damn, he loved this because he sees an old Matt again. And then I couldn't help but chuckle a little bit when it was just like, Matt's dead. I was like, oh damn, they killed him off fast, bro. Yeah, and then let's see, Tony and Janet's son, Jimmy, if I remember correctly. He is part of the problem because he actually is the one that's creating the suits for the Peacemakers.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they had a name for them.
I think they did, but I don't remember what they are. Yeah.
Well, anyway, the police. I'll just put police around that. And at the end, it's also shown that I don't know if he's alive or what, but Jimmy is using Tony in some way.
Yeah.
Unclear if Tony is alive. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
It seems
like he's like, yeah, maybe some weird, like somehow his body got cut in half, but he's just in a coma or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like he was kind of being used to like power something or some shit. Yeah, so let's see what else. So yeah, I guess I know Luke and Matt had been calling themselves the Defenders in this, which is obviously very similar to kind of their their thing going forward. I guess Bullseye's in the next issue. So that's something. I know it looks like he's it's gonna be Cap kind of trying to recruit a bunch of Avengers, old and new. Maybe not new, but Tony Iron Man is on the cover of the next one. It's not Jimmy because he's not. It's made very clear he's never been in the suit. We did see there is an Iron Man, but I don't know. I don't think we ever definitively knew who was in there yet.
Did we see an Iron Man?
Yeah, just briefly. There's a quick scene of like the Avengers like on TV, and they're like, and then it cuts to Jimmy, and they're like, you should really be in the suit, Jimmy, or something like that.
I must have missed that one then.
Yeah. So like, and future covers, like we have a cover with Kamala on it, and also with Thor. So it looks like he's just going to be recruited. But yeah, this was really great. This is the first thing I read from the stuff that came out for the week we're talking about. I was positive that it was going to be my pick of the week. It's not though, but I do think it's very good. I thought it was genuinely great. At the time I read this, it was the best comic I'd read so far this year. But there's at least one more book that came out this week that I like more than this, and maybe there's more than one book that came out this week that I like more than this. So but I loved it. I gave it a 9.
I also gave it a 9. Really good, really good. Yeah. I'm gonna say it was my pick of the week. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna do it.
Do you think it's a good idea to jump straight into Cobra Commander, or should we save that for a little bit?
Save it for a little bit. Give some bad ones here and there.
All right. Well, speaking of bad ones, let's talk about Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. This is Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, issue number 4. It's written by Brian Buccellato. The artist is Tom Derenick, and Christian Deuce is also. They're both listed here. So, I mean, okay, I don't think this is bad, but I do think it's definitely a big step down from last issue, and I think just generally it's not as good as this might be my least favorite issue of the series so far. I really like the stuff on Skull Island where Supergirl is there and she kind of clocks that Khan is not an enemy, and then she leaves and Green Arrow has to fight off like the League of Assassins on League of Shadows on Skull Island, and then like Khan kind of helps them out and helps take out some of those guys. That stuff was good, but a lot of the rest of the issues is kind of nothing. Like it's Lois and the League being all sad because Clark is dead, but he's probably not dead. So that kind of just feels like it just feels kind of like like kind of wasting time when we know that I don't buy the emotional moments because like it's made pretty clear in this issue that Clark is not dead. They tried to kind of fake us out last issue and make it seem like he is, but he's pretty clearly not. So there's that, and then there's also people just kind of doing stuff in Atlantis for a bit. Like there's another big kaiju that shows up there, and then Godzilla shows up and starts fighting it, and that's kind of it. We do get the reveal briefly that Lex is building a Mechagodzilla.
Yes,
because I guess he got the blueprints from the MonsterVerse. I don't know if you saw, Sebastian. We have the cover for issue number 7, and Mechagodzilla is on there. Yeah.
I did see it. I did.
Yeah. So. Yeah, this is one, though, that I don't think I have a lot to say on. It's fine, but I don't think it's great. Even, like, the big monster action sequence in Atlantis I thought would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I just kind of ended up being underwhelmed by it. So, yeah, I don't know. I do think you could have probably cut this issue and maybe just transferred some of the Skull Island stuff to the previous issue with Green Arrow, and I think it would have maybe even felt more cohesive that way. Because, yeah, I didn't feel like this really did a whole lot to push the overall story forward, and ultimately I do think it was kind of weaker than the rest of the stuff so far.
Yeah. The stuff underwater, that kaiju that showed up out of nowhere, and then Godzilla showing up, made sense obviously because he tries to keep the natural order, stuff like that. So he tries to keep the other monsters in check, and so him showing up to Atlantis, that makes sense. But like, it's like you said, like the fight itself was just like it was just nothing. It was just super underwhelming. And then, I guess Aquaman like releases the Kraken.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I forgot that
that's a
happened.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a thing that's gonna be, I'm assuming, in the next issue. Hopefully they don't just skip over that. Like
They might.
yeah, like some comics that are just like, oh yeah, that was resolved.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, okay, well, this issue, if I remember, no, this issue didn't end on that. It ended the that part on that, but yeah, that whole Skull Island bit was way more enjoyable with Supergirl, like first like hitting Kong and stuff, or like swatting him away at least. I don't know if she like full force like hit him or whatever, but yeah, they just had a stare down, and Supergirl, realized that he wasn't a threat, so she flies away. And then that's when Kong looks at Green Arrow, and he's like starts beating his chest, and Arrow's like, "Hey, man, I'm not here to fight you neither."
Yeah.
And then he turns around, and notices the League, so he goes after them, and he falls into, or at least jumps into a boat, and that boat has
Oh yeah, big
what
monster skull. Yeah.
I think was a skull crusher skull.
Skullcrawler. Is it
Skull
Skullcrawler or
crawler?
Skull Crusher? I don't know.
It might be a skull crawler.
I think it was a Skullcrawler.
Yeah, it might be a skull crawler. I could always call it crusher, but yeah, skull crawler skull in it. So that's a thing, I guess, as well.
Yeah, it does
but
say
yeah.
Skullcrawler cameo. Yeah.
Okay, then yeah. But yeah. Besides that, it's just yeah, it was mid. It was all right,
Yeah.
I guess.
I give it a 6 out of 10.
I give it a 7. Let's go. Let's go. Green Lantern.
Okay. So funny story. We were initially kind of planning to record 2 days ago, and so frantically, I was trying to read this and the 2 Wonder Woman issues so that I could talk about them in time. So I read through this really quickly. As a result, I don't feel like I maybe properly appreciated this issue. I do think it was good, but I really blazed through it. So just so the basic stuff that I remember is that John is doing his, he's kind of hanging around, waiting for his mom to recover after her like heart attack or whatever it was that she had in the earlier parts, and then like tries to like actually say like, hey, is it his sister or it is his sister, right? Yeah, Ellie.
I believe it is his sister. Yeah.
Yeah. He tries to be like, yo, my sister's actually dead, but that does not go well. So he's like, fuck it, I'll just make like a construct that can, I guess, last with like independently.
Yeah, just like think for itself, I guess.
Yeah, to try to make it so that his mom doesn't freak out. And then he goes off to the forest with Cal and Shepard. And they run into some other Green Lanterns who are like, "Yo, you've got Varen's ring, John. That's not cool. We're gonna have to. You're a traitor. We're gonna have to take you down." And then the Radiant Dead show up. And they're like, "Yo, it's time to throw down." And also the Revenant Queen is there. So that's kind of the gist of it, though. I don't think I'm missing anything major, but
no, you pretty much got it. The lanterns that show up are on a payroll. They were paid to go there and like essentially recover the ring or kill anybody. Like
some of the stuff they mentioned there is a little bit. It does relate a little bit to some stuff going on in the other Green Lantern series. Not like very very slightly, but they do mention Premier Tharos or whatever his name is, and he's that new asshole leader of the Corps that we kind of learned a lot more about in the last issue of Green Lantern. So that's kind of that's what that's all about.
Yeah, and I mean, you basically covered it. Yeah, he made a construct of his sister. They went to the forest because with John's new ring that's not connected to the rest of the Corps, but still to the Radiant Dead, he's able to like essentially track them down. And so so that's how they went to the forest, and they knew it was a trap, but they didn't know how, so they were being careful. And that's when the other lanterns showed up, and that's when the Radiant Dead was waiting for the other lanterns essentially to show up to then spring out to capture more lanterns. And that's essentially what's happening right now. The Radiant Dead is in Earth, I guess. She's like, Earth is already doomed. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, you pretty much covered it. Well,
Also forgot to mention that it's written by Philip Kennedy Johnson and the artist is Montos. Art is still very good.
Yeah.
Just generally good stuff. I don't have a ton to say on this one though. I do think it's definitely a step up from last issue, which I didn't think was amazing. So I do think this is back in the right direction. I gave it an 8, but I don't think it's like incredible. It's just very solid and good.
Yeah, I thought it was an issue, honestly. Nothing crazy, nothing too good, nothing too bad. So, I gave it a 7.
Okay. You know what? Let's get it out of the way, Sebastian. Time to talk about Catwoman.
All right.
I don't know why we're talking about this because we both only read last month's issue, but you know what? Well, fuck it. We're gonna talk about issue number 60 of Catwoman, written by Tini Howard. The art is Stefano Raphael. Okay, so we read the first issue of this arc. I do remember saying in that episode that we both had issues with the fact that she just lost 2 lives in one issue. No, because the first one, it's counting when she fell into the pit in Gotham War as the first one.
Oh, is it? Oh, I don't remember that.
So it is too. So, to this issue's credit, she doesn't die in this one at least. She thinks she does, but she doesn't, because when she goes to fight the Flamingo, she gets injected with some poison or something, but it misses her vein, so she gets knocked out but not killed. Yeah, this generally just kind of focuses on her going to this like weird kind of theatrical thing where a bunch of people just kill other people, like human sacrifices on stage, and because one of them has a statue that like gives you just incredible, like it essentially just makes you like, I guess for like lack of a better explanation, it essentially makes you like Kingpin in the sense that you are controlling a lot of stuff and you're kind of untouchable. And so, but you have to like, in order to appease it, you have to like every day somebody has to die in its vicinity because it's cursed or something. So Selena wants to go and steal it, and it used to belong to the Flamingo, and it turns out he's still alive. He's not the one who's owning it anymore, but so they kind of try to they kind of make some uneasy alliance to team up and steal it back, and then Selena gets betrayed, and there's like a car chase or something. I don't know. It's fucking it's I think still as weird and disjointed as the previous issue, but it's more boring as well. So I think this is actually worse than the previous issue in the arc. Yeah, I don't know. I was not a fan of this one.
No, me neither. Yeah, I think I agree with that. The fact that this one was worse. It's just the story, like the narration, the whole character. Everybody like just felt off. Nobody made sense. I feel like the entire time.
Yep.
Catwoman felt like super like just she didn't get written well at all. Flamingo was just fucking awful. I hated him as a character. Just the worst.
Yeah.
The weird like philanthropist like dude that just sat in a chair and smiled.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
What the hell? Why did we need to know like about him at all? I don't care. Make Flamingo the fucking boss. I don't give a fuck. Like I was just useless. Yeah, this entire thing was just bad, bro. Like from start to finish. The whole premise, like, okay, yeah, sure. We thought, maybe she lost a life, whatever. That's fine. We know she's gonna at some point. We're pretty sure she's just gonna lose all of them, so she's only left with the one.
Or possibly, I think this series might end with her just dying.
Another possibility. Who knows? We did possibly see the person that gave her the extra lives.
Oh yeah, that was the most interesting part of this whole
literally was
by far, yeah, like a weird clown cat person or something. Yeah,
I feel like even the part where Selena was like stealing the statue was just terribly written as well, because
it's not interesting. Yeah,
it's just like first she's like gonna sneak in through a glass by breaking it, and then they come out yelling that she's there. So obviously, like it made no sense. Like they know she was after the statue, yet everybody went outside as soon as she broke one window, and then they rushed back inside after they heard her drilling into the safe. Like, bro, how dumb are you? Like that just makes no sense. This entire thing was just from start to finish just bad.
Yeah. Are you gonna read the next issue?
61?
Yeah.
Not right now.
You said that. You said that the last time we talked about it, and here we are.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I gave it a 4. Definitely the worst issue I read this week.
100% also gave it a 4. All right, let's do Wonder Woman number 5.
Okay. So this is written by Tom Kane. The artist is Daniel Sampere. So we didn't talk about issue number 4 because we didn't record that week. Issue number 4 is great. I'm not going to go into it too much because
yes, I really like number 4.
Yeah, not going to go into it too much because you know it's not the current issue. But issue number 5, I didn't love it. I feel like I should have liked this more than I did because I like the concept here where all of kind of Diana's main friends, so Donna Troy, Cassie, who is the current Wonder Girl, and then also another version of Wonder Girl, I guess, Yara.
Yes.
I'm not really familiar with either of those characters. But so they are all essentially like, hey, we're gonna help you with the situation. Like, let us help. You know, we're your friends. We want to make sure you're good to go in this. And so she kind of Diana challenges every one of them individually to some kind of, test or something to be like, hey, if you win, I will let you help me. If I win, you have to just kind of stay away from this thing because I don't want you guys to get hurt. So for Yara, she has a contest where they just shoot arrows at each other.
Yeah.
And the first person to get hit by an arrow loses. It's just like, that's just an insane challenge. With Cassie, it's an arm wrestle, and then with Donna, it's a video game, like fighting game matchup thing. So, and that's kind of it. And then at the end, they're just like, everybody's just like, you know what, fuck it. We don't care if you don't want our help. We're gonna help you regardless.
Yep.
There is also, I think it's this issue where Sergeant Steele goes in to visit Giganta after the whole Beast World incident she was involved in last time, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna we want you to help us kill Wonder Woman." So that's also. Oh, and then the other thing is, Steele also goes and assembles like a bunch of other villains, to help kind of take down. So who is it? It's Atrocitus, who's I think the only one of this. Oh, right.
It says cameo, but I don't.
No, he's one of the fighting game character options.
Okay, that's probably where his cameo from then.
Yes. Right, it's Angleman, who I don't know who that is, but apparently he discovered the last piece of the anti-life equation,
and it made him go insane. Apparently,
yes. It's Cersei, who is, she's oftentimes a kind of mythological figure in Greek mythology. So she's also she's here. There is Dr. Psycho.
Yes.
Giganta has mentioned, and then Grail is the other one.
Grail, and then one more.
Is it Silver Swan?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he goes and recruits all of them and is like, yeah, let's do this. It's gonna be a big old face-off between those groups. So I don't think this was bad, definitely. I think it's pretty decent still. I do think this is a pretty marked step down, though. I think this is probably my least favorite issue of the series so far.
I would say so for me.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy this one that much.
Yeah, it's not yet at the point where I'm considering dropping it, but this has now crossed into the territory of if we did a couple more issues like this, then I think I probably will drop it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So this is kind of more what I was expecting from Tom Kane, because I go back and forth on Tom Kane stuff. I do quite like a lot of his work, but I do think this is kind of more indicative of what I was expecting from his run, as opposed to the first 4 issues, which. I didn't love issue 3, I don't think, but I think generally I think all of them have been solid. This one, I do think, is the biggest step down. I don't really know kind of what the structure is going to be going forward for this run, because it doesn't look like they're getting rid of the whole Sovereign angle yet.
Yeah, no, not yet.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a situation of it's the throwdown between kind of Diana's team and the Sovereign's team next issue, and then it looks like they're taking a break with issue 7 to do a Superman thing team up. But yeah, I do hope this gets back up to being very solid or very or great. Right now, my enthusiasm for the series is kind of dampened a little bit. So I don't think it was bad. I just kind of think it was just kind of whatever.
Yeah, I didn't like the fact that they like Diana built up this whole thing with making them promise that they're not going to help, for them to just at the very end just be like, yeah, we're helping anyway. We don't give a fuck about honor or whatever the hell.
I guess the indication is that they they have like they care so much about Diana, and they have so much that they're just like, fuck it, we just are not going to follow this anyway. But I do understand from a reader perspective, it feels like a waste of time. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I understand their characters and stuff like that. Like, that's who they are. Like, obviously they're gonna help anyway, regardless. I just hated the fact that like that was all this issue was just like building, like literally not even building up, because it wasn't building anything really. It was just like leading, like just like the entire issue was literally just Diana going to these three people, making sure they didn't help, and then at the end of it, like, yeah, we're helping. It's like, what was the point of the issue then? Like, it literally did nothing. Like, we could have had like a mini series, a mini issue of just the Steel. Because like not even that. That was like 3 pages in the end.
Yeah, you could have put that somewhere else. Yeah.
Like, yeah. So it's just, I don't know. I feel like this one was kind of just like, yeah, it was just useless.
Yeah.
We could have cut this one out entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I give it a 6.
I also gave it a 6. I initially had it as a 7, but I was like, you know what? I was like, yeah, no, yeah, I don't think so. So yeah. Okay. Well, let's move right along to Superman number 10.
All right.
This is, I think, the only one this week that I read that Sebastian did not read. So it's written by Joshua Williamson. The artist on this is Bruno Redondo. We did not talk about Superman either last time because that was the week that we did not record. But that was my pick of the week that last time it came out, and this week it is also my pick of the week. I think this is essentially a perfect comic. It is picking up directly from where the last issue left off, where Clark is in the Old West. He's and also Marilyn Moonlight is there as well, which is an interesting dynamic. Just kind of the team up between them. There's some other dude who's there, whose name is Terra Man. He's also in this. I don't know who that character is, but he's got some sort of history with Clark. I just he'd also gone back in time, and he's just like, I've got powers. There's literally nothing. Nobody in this era can do anything. Like, I can just like do whatever I want because I have powers in this, period where there was nobody really. That's before metas really kind of, became more prevalent. So Clark goes in. They have a bit of a scuffle. It's just like, it's really great Superman writing. Like, I've said this to death, but like Joshua Williamson just understands the character of Clark. He just really gets it. I also just like, I really think that he fits really well into this setting. Every time he interacts with anybody else who's from this time period, I just like, it was so easy to just picture him like just having fun and like slipping into an Old West accent for no reason other than just like he's happy to be there and just kind of wants to have fun in the moment. But also there are points where like he very much does kind of, get more serious and be like, yo, Terra Man, you're like killing a bunch of people. Like, obviously, like, let's throw down. So they have like a duel as well, like a gun duel. It's Clark doesn't have a gun. He just lets Terra Man shoot him. And he's like, yeah, I'm Superman. Like, it did fuck all. So yeah, really great. We also did we actually get the origin of Marilyn Moonlight in this as well. Finally, she turns out was actually a person living in this time period that they go to, and then like became a superhero there. And like, so she was able to kind of walk away from that life ultimately, and still have a strong focus on family. And, she was able to just die of old age surrounded by, by her family and everything. But then the kind of main villains of this run so far, Farm and Graft, I think it was those two, they kind of like, or it was somebody revived her essentially, but made her like a ghost so that she could only kind of operate during the night. And I think they were kind of like trying to recruit her. So she's like, well, fuck it. If I'm going to be alive and, only be able to, kind of be around at night, then I'm just going to go and try and help people as well still. So yeah, we got that. And then, at the end, Clark ends up back in the present, and Farm and Graft are there, and they're like, hey, we've got they call it the Lex Luthor Revenge Squad. Just a bunch of people who hate Lex Luthor trying to take him down. So they're like, join us or we're going to destroy Metropolis, essentially. And that's where the issue ends. The art in this, by the way, incredible. Bruno Redondo he's a great artist. He's probably most well known at this point for the work he's done on the Tom Taylor Nightwing run, which I have not read much of, but what I have read, I've really liked of it. I've just read that first issue and then the 2 Beast World tie-ins. But the art is great. I mean, just One thing I love about Bruno Redondo's art is just it looks so cinematic. Like I'm looking at it and I'm like, just like I love when right, a similar thing of like when I'm watching a movie or a TV show and I see like a really like cool, well composed shot from a cinematography standpoint. I feel the same way when I'm reading comics. When I see like a really cool like panel that is framed in a really interesting way, I love that, and Bruno Redondo's really good at that. So yeah, the art's fantastic. The story's great. I went back and forth on if I should give this a 9 or a 10, but I was like, fuck it. I just had so much fun with this. I love this series. I was like, yeah, I'm giving it a 10. Best comic I've read this year, and my favorite issue I read this week.
Yeah, I was looking forward to this one when I get there.
Which will be never. Yeah, it'll be never, unfortunately.
My current reading, you know what? Let's talk about Cobra Commander.
Okay, this is Cobra Commander #1, written by Joshua Williamson. It is the artist on this one is Andrea Milana. So yeah, newest entry in the Energon Universe. It is just essentially an origin story for Cobra Commander, showing his kind of thing in that like weird mushroom world. Where I guess like I don't remember the entire thing, but essentially like he was using like technology where they were all about organic science or something, because it's revealed later in the issue that that Cobra Commander has kidnapped a random transformer. I don't know who it is. It looked like some kind of random Autobot, but he
This is a bad bit. Go back.
So here's the thing. It's not entirely a bit. I know now that it's Megatron, but I did not know when I read it.
No, you did not know. Oh,
no, it's true. Because okay, here's the thing, right? You look at Gen 1 Optimus versus Michael Bay Optimus, and you can tell they're the same character. I do not think Gen 1 Megatron looks anything like
nothing
Michael.
like
Yeah.
him.
And with that being my only kind of experience with the franchise, I saw this Megatron. I was like, okay, who is that? It's not weird crab-faced Megatron from the Michael Bay movies, so I don't know who it is.
Wow. No, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh man, he's got Megatron.
Yeah. Great job, by the way. That's revealed in a huge double-page spread, which just looks fantastic.
It does. It looks so good.
So so it's kind of just showing, because I don't think he's actually Cobra Commander right now, like within the. It seems like he's taking orders from somebody else.
When he's in the mushroom world, he's not officially Cobra Commander. He basically negotiates with the ruler of that place,
the Globulus.
The Globulus. To basically like let him go to the real world, let him take over that world in Globulus's name, and give him basically a new title. And so that's how he gets the title Cobra Commander when he goes to that new world.
Right. There's a very pretty gruesome scene at the start where he just goes into a bar and he's like, "Hey, I need a vehicle." And they're like, "How the hell did you get out of here in this here snowy bar area without a car?" And then he's just like, "All right, you know what?" And then he just goes and just follows some dude out of the bar, brutally kills him, and then just steals his truck. So. Yeah, I know Joshua Williamson has kind of described this series as like a horror series. It's generally what he's kind of trying to go, like the vibe he's kind of going for, and I think it does come through. Not maybe as much in this issue as I think it maybe will later on down the line, but like it definitely there's some pretty gruesome stuff in here at points. I don't remember how this ends though. Is it just him going up to the real world, right?
Essentially, yeah. It's basically because a lot of this one was them in the mushroom world.
Yeah.
And it started off with him like essentially like they were fending off like I think it was like some rebels or something like that.
Yeah. I'm full of good bits today.
It's not rebels the word I'm looking for. They used a different word. I don't remember what it was.
X-wing pilots.
This is so bad.
And then Cobra Commander busted out his TIE fighter and he said, "Luke, I am your father." I don't know if any of this is gonna stay in.
No.
I think the longer it goes on, though, both the more and less funny it gets. So I may just have to keep the whole thing in.
Anyway, Cobra Commander got blown up by a bomb on his own side because they didn't fucking throw it, I guess. And so he was healed, and they used like I guess like snake venom injected into him, whatever. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, it's venom of the Cobra. Yeah.
But we saw a bit of the Cybertronian war through a screen in Megatron's head.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of shown that Megatron's not dead. He, like, smiled at the end of it. But then, yeah, we get the clip in the real world where Cobra Commander kills that dude in the snow and yada yada. So, yeah, it was a very origin story thing. Nothing to really, like, move forward the universe in any sense, I guess, besides introducing just Cobra Commander and the fact that Megatron was over there, but in Transformers, we kind of saw him in the Antarctic as well.
Yeah.
So we don't know how, I guess, he got there, but he is over there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the best issue 1 of the series so far, or of the Energon Universe so far. I really liked this. It's very strange to me just going into this whole universe. First of all, I didn't know it was going to be a Transformers centered universe initially when I first read Blood Rivals, because I didn't get that spoiled for me. Yeah, but when I did, like, the Transformers stuff was kind of what I was more interested in, and yet I think the 2 G.I. Joe books have had the strongest start, despite the fact that I do not give any shits about G.I. Joe. So I'm really impressed with just the way that Joshua Williamson has been building out this side of the Energon Universe. And as we've talked about before, I think the Energon Universe as a whole has been just very solid. I thought this was very, very good. And yeah, I think this is kind of a new high point for the universe so far.
Yes, this one was a very, very good issue. I will say that this one has been my favorite number 1 of all of them so far. Yeah, and very excited. Like it's like you said, I've had more run-ins with Transformers, and I know a lot more about Transformers than I do G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
But I know, like, I know bits and pieces. Like, I know there's the G.I. Joe, and then there's like their opposite, which is like the Cobra Commander, like that faction or whatever.
Yeah. Cobra is what they're called. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't know, like, really I don't know if the origins are like 100% like still the same.
I think they are taking some liberties. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if Cobra Commander is like from an alternate like world or whatever.
Mushroom world. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's like 100% the same or whatever, but this is. It's not that like I'm caring about G.I. Joe more, but like I am invested a lot more in the G.I. Joe's part than I thought I would be.
Right. Yeah, I would say like you and I think that our G.I. Joe knowledge is about on the same level, whereas your Transformers knowledge is much more than mine.
Yes.
Because as I said, I didn't recognize Megatron. Because I think there's a letters page where they're like, "Oh, Megatron's there with Cobra Commander." I was like, "No shit, that was Megatron." So yeah, very, very solid stuff. I'm very much looking forward to it. And Duke is in 2 weeks again, which I'm looking forward to as well. So I mean, well, okay, 2 weeks in terms of like the episodes for us, but like next week in terms of actual when it's coming out. But yeah, this was very close to being my pick of the week. I liked this more than Avengers Twilight, but I didn't like it quite as much as Superman. So I give it a 9. I still think it's very, very good, but yeah, not quite pick of the week material for me.
I gave it an 8 for some reason. I don't remember what. I still don't remember the reason I gave it an 8.
Yeah,
I literally remember specifically being like, "This is a 9 for me," but for this reason, I'm giving it an 8. And I don't remember the reason.
Well, good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go on over to Daredevil number 5 here. Obviously, this is the actual pick of the week because it's Daredevil. But whatever. Okay, here's the thing. So we have talked about this quite a bit at this point. How we think that the past couple issues of the series have been just kind of fine.
Yes.
Very middle of the road. Definitely not terrible, but just so kind of. I particularly feel like it's been quite bland up to this point. And particularly in issues 3 and 4, I think issues 1 and 2 were pretty good. I think this is a good step in the right direction. It's not great, but I do think it's better than the past 2 issues. Definitely, yes. I would say this issue is good, but not amazing. So essentially, just kind of follows She-Hulk Jen shows up just randomly when Matt is just shopping for TVs. And she's like, immediately, Matt is like, whoa, this is weird because she remembers who I am, whereas like nobody else is supposed to. I don't think I really realized that like really nobody knows who Matt Murdock is anymore. I think Elektra might, if I remember correctly, but
I
like,
believe, yeah, she's like the
yeah,
only one actually, I think.
right, yeah, like everybody else is forgotten. It's also strange though. Maybe they just don't know, like they remember Matt, but they don't recognize this as Matt. Because I know, like in that last issue of the Chip Zdarsky run, Foggy and Reed have a long Reed Richards have a long conversation about Matt. So, and this is like after he died. So I'm very. I don't think they just forgot who he is. I don't think they just forgot he existed. I think they just maybe for some reason do not know that this Matt is the same.
I thought that it was like the weird like devil things that were making people forget about Matt, like that the newspaper reporter, right? You know?
Yeah.
Like
but he remembered him.
Like, did he?
Yeah, Ben is one of the only people who did remember Matt. So I think it's actually the opposite, where it's the devils, or what it is, the 7 deadly sins, right? We have official confirmation of that in this issue. So what I think it is actually is that it's not even the characters that are remembering him; it's just the sins know him, and they have just possessed these people's bodies. That's what I think this is going on here.
Okay. Okay.
She-Hulk is possessed by gluttony. It becomes very evident down the line. Like it starts out being like, you know, okay, this is kind of, you know, it's not too off, but it's just like there's kind of like a weird uncanny valley sense to it as the issue goes on. Jen is just shepherding Matt to different food locations and just is eating so much, like just everywhere is just eating like the entire restaurant. It seems like. So yeah, pretty quickly you're like, okay, something is up here.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's that, and then eventually, Matt kind of realizes like, whoa, something's going on here when there's like a fire or something, and the cops are like, She-Hulk, hey, help us out here, help us get this person out of the fire, and she just like wrecks the cockroach. She's like, I don't care about that, I just want food.
Yeah, she wanted the ice cream, bro.
Yeah. Much to Sebastian's relief, I'm sure, then we do get an actual fight between She-Hulk and Matt.
Yeah, we do.
We see Matt in the Netflix black suit as well, which I always like seeing that. Yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. And yeah, at the end, there's like, oh, it's the 7 deadly sins, and it's like, yep, called it. Also, Mr. Hyde is involved. I remember seeing him, but I don't remember what he did.
So the reason the cop cars were out in front of the ice cream shop is because there was a chemical lab on top of that.
Oh, right.
And Mr. Hyde was up there robbing the place, I guess.
Yeah. It's interesting because I thought he died in the first issue of The Punisher. Joe really messed him up, so I was surprised to see him back so soon. Especially because like he's such a deep cut character. Anyway, though, as I said, yeah, I don't think this is great, but I think it is definitely a step in the right direction. I think, I do think the whole like the way that they're dealing with the 7 deadly sins feels pretty easy, like. To a degree that I'm not entirely sure. I think it just kind of makes it so lose some of the tension because Matt just exercises them all with like no problem so far, and that's kind of it because he's done that with 3 of them so far, and so there's like there's 4 left to go presumably, but I just I think it's the way they're getting rid of these is a little bit convenient, I think. But then at the end, Doctor Strange shows up he's like, hey, we got some stuff to talk about. Interestingly, he does call him Father Matt and not like Matt Murdock or something, not like Mr. Murdock or something. So it's not entirely clear whether or not Strange remembers, but it's looking like he might not. Clearly, it's going to be a situation of like if a character remembers, it's like says they know who Matt is, then it's clearly going to be a 7 deadly sin thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's actually smart making Doctor Strange the team up in the next issue because I can buy that he would be able to just know that through magic.
Yes.
So I think it's kind of smart. They might be able to kind of play with that a little bit. Also, I forgot to mention, Salvador Ahmed is the writer. Fareed Karami is the artist. I think the art looks pretty good here as well.
Yeah.
Kind of this like
art worked.
Yeah, it's some kind of weird. It's very gritty and it almost feels off, but I think it's good. And I think if anything, that kind of adds to the like discomfort during the whole like She-Hulk Matt restaurant tour. Anyway, though I think it's good and definitely a step up over last issue, but not amazing.
I think Yeah, it's like you said, step in the right direction. Like I didn't like 1 and 2 were fine. 3 and 4, not as great simply because it's just like it's just a plot that like didn't make sense. Like the first 2 issues were like him essentially, and especially the first one, it was like him wrangling with the fact that he wanted to leave the Daredevil past behind, but it like called to him, and then like 3 and 4 were just like essentially I feel like just like him just complaining about the fact that like, oh god, I'm back at the Daredevil thing again.
And
And
then
like
Bullseye
this,
shows up for some reason.
yeah, and it's like this one, we didn't get that at all. He's just like, I have to do what I gotta do. I left the suit at home during the day. I'm not gonna be in the Red Devil suit, so I gotta do something. So that's why he comes back in like the Netflix black suit or whatever. But yeah. So like this one, it was like I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta help stop, She-Hulk. Which made more sense than just being like, God, here I go again, looking beating people up in my Daredevil costume. It just, yeah, step in the right direction, but still, not that great in my opinion. It's a little bit above mid, like it's above mid, but it's not, not up there. So,
Yeah.
I gave it a 7.
I also gave it a 7. We just have the Beast World stuff now, yeah?
Yeah. Hold on.
I think Titans is listed first.
I think so. Hold on. I'm gonna take my cats outside. They keep meowing at me.
Okay. Now that I'm thinking about it, since Sebastian is gone, I might just fill for a little bit. Otherwise it'd just be a lot of dead space for me to kind of edit out. So I feel like this way it might make editing a little easier since we are back in. I don't know if we've mentioned this too much, but we're back in school, both of us. So if I can cut down on some editing time, that's definitely helpful since I got a lot of other school assignments and stuff doing. But yeah, so I guess I'll just fill for a little bit. As always, I pick stuff that's too good. It's like Sebastian just he's kind of off his game a little bit in terms of choosing stuff, and I know that some of that is kind of purposeful because he just he likes to make me read stuff that is not very good. But Avengers Twilight, another winner. It's a real shame that he's not up to date on Superman, because that's just a really good one. But anyway, yeah, Prince of Persia, really good stuff as well. By the way, good game. I heard him got back, so he's back here now, I think. So I'm gonna stop filling.
So you just talking about random stuff?
Yeah, a little bit. This will be fun for you because then you can go back and listen to this part. I initially just kind of sat back and was just gonna be quiet, but then I was like, you know what? Let's just fill for a bit. Okay, so next up we will talk about we got 2 issues left here to discuss. We're going to talk about Titans number 7 number first. That's good. Titans number 7 first. So okay, it's written by Tom Taylor. The artist is Travis Moore here. I think this was a little bit. I think this issue wrapped up a little bit too neatly because it does kind of.
Very much so.
Yeah, it feels like it just completely wraps up all the loose plot threads of the entire series so far. So like Garth Tempest, he gets the whatever the Brother Eternity spore thing out, so he's about to just be in his usual self, because I guess they lay some trap or something to dehydrate him that Dick had previously set up. Which then caused the thing to leave for some reason. Also, Nightwing is a wolf in this. I don't remember if that was something that had happened. Fox, yeah. I don't remember if that had happened in previous issue. I must have, but I don't remember it. So yeah, that's kind of one part of it, and then it's also they try to get the Garo spore out of Dick as well, and they do ultimately end up doing that as well, and then they beat up Brother Eternity for a little bit. I think that's kind of the gist of it. I don't remember a lot of this issue though, because I think it's pretty just kind of whatever.
So it starts off with Batgirl underneath the tower, kind of fending off Nightwing, the Foxwing, I'll call him, like they called him in the
Night Fox
in the issue. No, they called him Foxwing. Yep. I think
Night Fox sounds better though. I'll just say that.
I'll still call it Foxwing because that's what they called it in the issue. She was just her for a little bit, and then Raven and Flash showed up underneath there as well. They showed up. Let me think. Garth showed up first, and that's when Raven showed up. Flash took Batgirl to somewhere in the tower. What doesn't matter. But yeah, so Raven like teleported Garth to this room where they instantly dehydrated him, which caused the thing to come, the spore to come out of Garth because Garth was essentially immobile and like useless. So the spore came out to like try to find a new host, and Raven killed it. And so then we go back to Starfire and Xander, which was previous, or which was Brother Eternity? I don't know.
Yeah, no, he was Brother Eternity. He was posing as and he like I don't think this is a situation of like he killed the real Brother Eternity. I think it's just like he was just posing as the guy named Brother Eternity.
Yeah, exactly. So so we go to him and kind of get a little bit of a past snippet of Starfire's homeworld and stuff, and how he got to Earth and whatever. That was kind of just like whatever. And then he tries to infect Cyborg, but that didn't work because Cyborg is at this point more machine than man.
I think they just kind of. I think he says it's like I'm half and half, and you can't latch onto the half that's metal.
Yeah, it's like half and half, but it's like the stuff that the spore needs to control me, I don't even have. So it's like it's just useless. And so so they just knock him down, and then Foxwing comes in, and Starfire just holds him against the wall, and the bug comes out, and Starfire just like bites it and throws it on the ground, and she's just like, yep, this is it, and that's how it pretty much ended. Yeah, I don't think anything else happened after that.
I think it's fine. I think it's better than the other Beast World tie-in, which we'll talk about. So. But I don't think it's anything great or amazing or special or anything. I gave it a 7.
I also gave it a 7. Yeah, nothing. It finally wrapped up the whole Garth thing, which was just confusing for me. I didn't understand that.
Yeah, I know you've had questions about that. All right, let's bring us to the final issue of the episode, and that would be Nightwing number 110. This is only the 3rd issue of this run I've read. It's written by Tom Taylor. The artist is Sami Basri. This essentially, the plot here is Dick and John Kent, Superman, go to bust an underground Beast World fighting ring, which Damian is involved in because he has been transformed into a cat named Mr. Mittens. It's a weird one. It's a pretty strange issue. Also, this is the issue that made me think, like, what even is the timeline for Beast World? Because like
it's just everywhere. I don't understand why they're doing it this way, where they like give us an issue that happened before the issue that we got last week, and it's just like, why can't you just release them in order? Like, why do we have to keep jumping around? It's pissed me off.
The other thing, because that happens with Titans, where it's set before issue number 4, which we talked about last episode. And earlier in the event, there were tie-ins that came out that were set after issue number 2, but were released before issue number 2. So it's like, okay. But I also mean, just from a standpoint of like, how long has any of this been going on? Because they say like, I think in this issue they're like 3 days after after the initial start of Beast World. It's like, how the fuck did they organize this entire like Beast World fighting ring so quickly? It just feels like
the Nightwing. So this one took place like right at the beginning of Beast World. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I don't think it did though, because 3 days after, I feel like the Beast World event so far has taken place over like a day match. Like it seems like it's been very much kind of a quick developing situation.
I'm pretty sure. I swear it said like, maybe it was that beginning part, not the actual like. There's that beginning part in the hospital took place at the very beginning. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. Speaking of which, there is a point where there's a character there. I don't know who it is. It's they don't have a character listing. But wait, Ava. It must be. Yeah. So it is Apex Ava. Yeah. That only just now registered for me. Yeah. So yeah, that's Ava is there, and she like hunted like animals for a while. It's kind of a creep in the hunter situation. She did that for a while, and then she's like, you know what? I'm bored. I'm gonna go hunt people now. And then so she got attacked by one of the Garo spores and like bit it out, like bit a part of it off, and then turned into essentially like a very much a Beast Boy kind of character, where she's got very similar power. She seems to be able to control the spores, but has not been like completely taken over by them. And so she's kind of the one who's organized this, or maybe not organized, but she is at least like a major player in the fighting range. She like
I think she organized. Well, I think she organized it.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Like, she trains a lot of them, and then like kind of, yeah. So and then yeah, they bust up the ring, and then that's kind of it. There is some kind of hints towards like, oh, Apex Ava will be back. I think it's gonna be just like a finale of Beast World thing, though.
Yeah, probably. No, so it starts off with Dick calling, was it John, right? It's John?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, okay. Basically saying like, I don't know where Damien is, and John's like, I can't hear his heartbeat either. So either he's like gone somewhere where his heartbeat is muffled, he got transformed, or he's dead. And so they go to the Ice Lounge. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
I
think it's the Iceberg Lounge. Yeah.
Iceberg Lounge, and that's where they meet up with Aiden and Addison Cobblepot.
Yeah.
And they basically they tell Nightwing where exactly they might find Damien. And it turns out that Damien was turned. He is a little kitty.
Mr. Mittens.
His name is Mr. Mittens, his deadliest name. And he fights off a bear.
Not like an actual bear, by the way.
A transformed bear, a person transformed into a bear. And that's where we first see the transformed Apex Ava. She was controlling Damien. And so they get Damien out of there before he can kill the bear. And so then Nightwing, Dick and Damien go back down to block off the exit for Ava, while John just carries the entire because they're in a hockey rink, I guess, and he just carries the entire thing to the prison. And that's where we first see Ava use her her new powers, and she transforms into one of her tattoos that she has on her body, which was like a bird, and she flies away.
Yeah, that bird is on the cover of Beast World 6, by the way, so I think that's where we'll see her. Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, I saw that people weren't liking it simply because of Damien, the way they wrote Damien. I thought he was fine. I know I've always thought he struggled over who he was and whether he should kill or not. And I know he's been leaning towards or he's been struggling with not killing people. So, this one was a lot while he was in, a beast form or whatever, he obviously had no control over himself. So even if he did harm people, now he has to struggle with that fact that he's been doing a really good job of not killing people. Now he's worried that he might have, hurt people.
He probably did kill somebody, by the way.
I assume
in that
so.
run, in that
but it's it's not something at that point. It's not something he could have controlled. So I understand where he's coming from, but at some point, he's gotta forgive himself for that. Because in the end, he literally had no control over himself.
I think the other thing that people are frustrated with this run, which has been coming out in this issue, is that this run's been going on for a while, and they haven't really advanced the overarching plot in a while, from what I understand. So I think that's also part of the frustration. But I thought this was fine. I definitely, this is not of the Tom Taylor written Beast World tie-ins. This is my least favorite, but I still don't think it's bad. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. I gave it a 6. Whatever.
I think it was okay. I enjoyed it for what it was, I guess. I didn't find it too bad. I enjoy Damien and his overarching struggle story thing or whatever. Yeah. So I don't know. I give it a 7.
I think that's part of the problem. I've never really been a Damian Wayne fan, so him being in a book just doesn't do it for me. Anyway, though, that will wrap us up for this episode. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening, as always. Next week, a couple of things we'll be talking about here. Boner from Business Tenement has a new issue. That is pretty good. Daredevil Black Armor. I didn't mind issue 2, actually, so I'm kind of interested to see how that one goes. The Flash number 5, obviously, I'm very excited for that. That's a very good series. We love it. Genuinely, I actually don't mind that series. I think it's on the up and up, I think. We also have Gods number 4. Not a favorite series of mine, but I think it's always very interesting. This is something we have. An issue called Ghost Machine is coming out. It's I think it's, from what I understand, it's a one shot that's setting up a new side of the Image universe coming up in the upcoming month. So I'm going to be checking that out, see what that's all about. An issue of Green Arrow I think could be quite good. Immortal Thor is back after a little bit of a break. There was an issue in December, but it's been a little while. Ninja the Punisher, I have quite liked this series so far. It's very similar to just general Frank Castle stuff, but I think it's well executed. I will not be reading this, but the Resurrection of Magneto comes out this week. I'm very excited for that. I love Al Ewing, and I think this looks like it'd be very cool. So if you're kind of following the Fall of the House of X stuff, that's something to keep an eye on. And then also, yeah, more Titan stuff and the finale of Universal Monsters Dracula. Is there anything else that you are going to shout out here?
No, not really.
Well, anyway, yeah, thanks again for watching or listening. If you are on YouTube, you can, of course, you can like the video if you enjoy the video. You can also subscribe to the channel if you would like to, be able to see more of our content. If you don't want to miss any time we upload a video, you can hit the bell notification so that you are always notified when we upload. You can also leave us a comment letting us know what you think about the current state of comics in general. What are some of your favorites? What are some of your least favorites? And if you want to do that on Spotify, you can get in touch with us at earthmightiestcomicspod@gmail.com. That is our email address. It is all one word with no apostrophe in the word Earths. And you can also follow the show over there to make sure that you don't miss any episodes over there. So yeah, again, thank you everybody for tuning in this week, and we will see you in the next episode.